Well, a tough economy means tough decisions as airlines cut flights and service to smaller airports like Asheville Regional, meaning fewer options for passengers.
As News 13's Emma Wright explains in this special report, those airports are now playing catch-up, trying to attract customers despite higher ticket prices and fewer flights.
Nearly 750,000 people flew through Asheville Regional last year, but passenger traffic is well off that pace this year, thanks to several factors that have smaller airports like Asheville fighting for flights. Taking the easy way out is easier said than done these days. Flying out of Asheville is getting more complicated and expensive.
It is very frustrating working with the airlines, but it's just the nature of the industry.
As the airlines tighten their belts, they're canceling flights and upping prices. Regional airports are feeling the pinch.
When an airline will stop a flight, we'll know a day or two beforehand.
The past few years haven't been kind to regional airports around the country. The major airlines are merging, consolidating flight schedules and using smaller aircrafts. And it all means fewer flights for airports like Asheville.
It's disheartening for us to be able to tell the community that we're losing a flight because they are using it.
In July 2011, there were 494 flights out of Asheville. In July 2012, 292. That's a 40% decrease.
We're trending with what the airlines are doing.
Lou Bleiweiss, the airport's executive director, says he's working to bring new airlines and more flights, but it's easier said than done.
It's not something that you just pick up the phone and call. If we see a flight that's not performing well, we can make suggestions to the airlines as far as let's try tweaking the time of the flight here a little bit of there. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
Bleiweiss says over the past 50 years, passenger traffic has steadily increased to nearly 750,000 in 2011. But fewer flights means fewer passengers this year. And last year's peak was still 1 million less than Greenville and nowhere close to Charlotte's 39 million passengers.
I like to fly out of GSP, Greenville-Spartanburg. I can get in and out of there. There's more flights in and out of there. There's more international flights. You got Southwest there as a hub. So, all those reasons plus that make it very convenient.
Across the state line, business is booming at GSP.
It's safe to say that anywhere within a 100-mile radius is fair game for us.
It wasn't always that way. After years of declining passenger traffic, GSP landed the world's biggest discount airline. And now folks are heading south to fly Southwest.
We've certainly experienced what some in the industry call the Southwest effect. Our fares have stabilized. They've become a lot more competitive. There's been some competitive response from other airlines operating out of GSP.
At the Asheville airport, Bleiweiss says adding flights and carriers is the goal, but people have to book tickets.
We prefer to just pay the extra money and go out of Asheville, not have to hassle with driving and parking. And we figure this ends up being the same amount of time, costing a little more.
He says paying a little more now will hopefully mean more cheaper flights later.
Have the community sell the story of why should they, the airlines, come to Asheville.
More proof of the Southwest effect at GSP. The airport just had its busiest August ever with more than 162,000 passengers. Meanwhile, Asheville airport officials say despite the recent flight cuts, they are still faring much better than other airports of similar size. And more good news for Asheville, discount airline Allegiant begins nonstop service to Fort Lauderdale, Florida on November 15th.